This is not looking good for JLo because there's some new photos that show that she was with Diddy the night of that incident with that 13-year-old girl, you know, the one where Diddy and Jay-Z, they took turns. Yeah, guys, this is wild. These photos are back from the year 2000 at the MTV VMAs after party. And in them, you see JLo and Diddy. It looks like they're having some type of back and forth. Like JLo does not look happy at all. She looks pretty pissed, and her sister Linda is there too. It looks like she's maybe trying to calm things down a little bit. Now, there's no word on what actually caused JLo to not be so happy with Diddy or like what really was going on, but people are making some connections here. You know, we now know the news of what happened with that 13-year-old girl, Jay-Z, Diddy. They did what they did. It is crazy. But again, there's some people that are saying that, well, there's no proof that JLo would have known about this or that she was involved in any way. There were reports saying that there was another unnamed female in the room while Jay-Z and Diddy were, you know, doing what they did. And there's been a lot of speculation of that unnamed celebrity woman being JLo. Some people think it's Beyonce, but now with these new resurfaced pictures, people are saying that it was in fact JLo there. Because what would they be arguing about the very same night? Just to give you guys a rundown of what's going on in case you're not too familiar, there's some new claims now in a lawsuit saying that Jay-Z as well as an unidentified female celebrity were present during an alleged incident involving a girl. And Diddy was there, Jay-Z was there, they took turns, and it's a pretty sad thing. And it was filed in New York, and it's a federal lawsuit. It was first filed in October of 2024, but then it was refiled in early December of 2024. And this time it includes the name Jay-Z. At first it just mentioned Diddy, but now it includes Jay-Z as somebody who literally did something that was completely unimaginable. And of course, Jay-Z is completely denying all of the claims in the lawsuit. He says that this is not him, this is completely out of character, and he says that he's actually being blackmailed by the lawyer that filed the suit. Also, the unnamed woman in this case, she only goes by Jane Doe. Jay-Z saying, okay, well, let her be known. Like, who is she? Who is this person? It sounds like they're making up claims, but a lot of people are saying that no, this is in fact 100%, because why would they go through with the lawsuit if it wasn't? If they didn't actually have proof. So yeah, so that's what's been going down right now, and JLo's name is brought up in it because, like I mentioned, there was that unnamed female celebrity that was also in the room when the incident happened. And now with these photos coming out again, it just doesn't really look good for JLo. Now, let me just take you back to that night in 2000 on September 7th. This girl, she was hanging outside of the party, and one of the limo drivers there said that he worked for Diddy and said that she was totally Diddy's type. So he invited her to the after party and she went along. And she says that when she got to the party, they made her sign something that she thinks might have been an NDA or something. And she says that the party was pretty wild. People were, you know, doing all kinds of stuff, using all kinds of consumables, and it was just open. It was like a free-for-all pretty much. And then she was also given a drink, and she said that it tasted a little bit funny. And then after a few sips, though, she felt a little bit woozy, and that's when things took a dark turn. She then found an empty bedroom there, and she ended up, you know, just lying on the bed, and she didn't lock the door though. But next thing that she knows, Diddy and some other female celebrity, followed by Jay-Z, enters the room, And then things get crazy. Diddy grabbed her and said, "You ready to party?" And then he literally threw her up against the wall and onto the bed. And that's when she says that Jay-Z did what he did to her and Diddy did what he did to her. After some time though, she managed to push Diddy away and run out of the room. And then she just literally ran to the nearest gas station and she called her dad and he came to pick her up. And she says that this whole thing left her pretty messed up. Even 20 plus years later, she's still literally dealing with the consequences of this. Sometimes she has uncontrollable shaking in her body and she has basically withdrawn from life, and she finds it hard to just have normal relationships with people. Now, these claims really stress that Diddy and Jay-Z are really close friends. You know, birds of a feather flock together. But they're not just music collaborators. They literally have like a family bond. Like, it's a really strong bond. They're not just regular associates that collaborate from time to time. Diddy has a history of doing stuff to women. Again, we've seen that video. I've mentioned it in other videos before, you know, bringing up the whole Cassie incident that he denied, and then the whole world saw it. Like, we literally saw the tape. It wasn't CGI, it wasn't no AI stuff. That was Diddy in the tape doing some unimaginable things to Cassie. Diddy currently right now is locked up and he's awaiting trial. And now we have Jay-Z, who's been hit with these new claims. So people are saying that, you know, this is all just pretty much a smear campaign to ruin Jay-Z's image, because there has been no proof, no video footage that showed Jay-Z doing anything that he shouldn't have been doing. But hey, like I said, I think the reason why they're going through with this is because they think that they have a very strong case against Jay-Z, and now potentially JLo could be the next celebrity that takes the fall.
JLo is confirmed to be on the Diddy tapes.
Yeah, they came to Ben Affleck and they said, "The wife's on these tapes."
That's right, your favorite Jenny, sorry Jennifer Aniston, is about to have a really, really long day. If these tapes get out, two things could happen. Either JLo is criticized further, or she gets the Kim K treatment and launched into superstardom. Let's talk about it. In the latest news drop to shake the entertainment world, Jennifer Lopez has been dragged into the news involving none other than Sean Diddy Combs.
She's serious? You know I love you.
The whispers of this juicy revelation have turned into a deafening roar, thanks to allegations from a former bodyguard that claim JLo appears in Diddy's infamous tapes.
Yeah, because whenever I meet people like Combs, they like to keep trophies.
As the gossip mill churns, the saga has also entangled Lopez's ex-husband, Ben Affleck, with rumors that they divorced because Ben Affleck already knew. For those who haven't been keeping up, let's set the stage. The so-called Diddy tapes have become the stuff of Hollywood legend right now. Allegedly recorded during Diddy's wild freak-off parties, these tapes reportedly feature explicit activities involving celebrities, models, and other high-profile guests. Over the years, the tapes have been rumored to exist, but never definitively proven. Enter Big Homie CC, a former celebrity bodyguard with ties to the hip-hop world. In a recent interview with Michael Franzese, CC made jaw-dropping claims that federal authorities seized these tapes during a raid on Diddy's properties. The tapes allegedly contain footage of Lopez, sparking immediate discussion. CC didn't mince words. One thing for certain that I can say and confirm to actually be fact, because I know this gentleman's part of his security team, they came to Ben Affleck and they said, "Your wife's on these tapes." Cue the collective gasp heard around the world. Could it really be true that one of Hollywood's most glamorous power couples were embroiled in such a sordid saga? When Jennifer Lopez and Diddy first got together in 1999, it was a match that lit up headlines and captivated fans. Lopez was transitioning from a successful acting career into music, having just released her debut album, On the 6, which featured hits like If You Had My Love. At the same time, Diddy, then known as Puff Daddy, was at the height of his influence in the music industry, running Bad Boy Records and producing chart-topping albums for artists like Notorious B.I.G. and Faith Evans. Together, they were a power couple who exuded style, success. The duo became synonymous with opulence and extravagance, attending lavish parties and hitting red carpets in unforgettable looks. Who can forget the iconic image of JLo in her plunging Versace dress at the 2000 Grammys with Diddy by her side? That dress became legendary, but the relationship behind it was anything but smooth sailing. Their romance, as usual when it comes to Jenny, was tumultuous, marked by publicized arguments and intense scrutiny from the media. One of the most infamous moments in the relationship came in December 1999, when the couple was involved in a high-profile nightclub incident in New York City. The incident occurred at Club New York, what a creative name, where heat broke out, leaving 3 people injured. Diddy was arrested for carrying a self-defense item and accused of bribing his driver to take the fall for him. Meanwhile, Lopez, who was present at the scene, was taken into custody but quickly released after being cleared of any involvement. This incident not only dominated tabloid headlines but also tested their relationship in a very public way. While Diddy faced a grueling legal situation, he was ultimately acquitted. Lopez distanced herself from the chaos. Many believe this incident was the beginning of the end for their romance. Behind closed doors, their relationship was reportedly fraught with jealousy and power struggles. Diddy, known for his larger-than-life personality, often found himself at odds with Lopez's burgeoning career ambitions. By the time they split in 2001, Lopez had cemented her status as a bona fide superstar with the release of her sophomore album, JLo, and her lead role in the romantic comedy The Wedding Planner. In interviews years later, Lopez reflected on the relationship with a mix of gratitude and honesty. In her 2019 interview with People, she described her time with Diddy as fun and flashy, but acknowledged it wasn't sustainable. She said, "We were young and we had a great time. It just wasn't meant to be." Diddy, on the other hand, has spoken fondly of Lopez in interviews, even calling her one of his greatest loves. Their post-breakup dynamic remained amicable, with the two occasionally reuniting at industry events, but the shadow of their relationship has lingered in the public imagination. Now, over 2 decades later, Lopez's past with Diddy has come back to haunt her. The alleged tapes threaten to drag not just her, but also her ex-husband, Ben Affleck, into a whirlpool of discussion. Adding an extra layer of intrigue to this saga is Ben Affleck's rumored reaction to the allegations. According to sources close to Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez, Ben was allegedly shown the tapes by federal agents who came into possession of the footage during their investigation of Diddy. If the rumors are to be believed, the tapes have probably caused the tension in Lopez and Ben Affleck's marriage that caused them to get divorced. And who wouldn't be rattled by such revelations? Ben Affleck has always appeared as the ultimate supportive husband, standing by JLo through career highs and personal challenges, but this scandal might be testing even his famously cool demeanor. One particularly big claim comes from none other than Suge Knight, the former Death Row Records CEO, who suggested that these tapes were a factor in Ben Affleck questioning his marriage. Knight didn't hold back, saying, "I'm quite sure JLo and Ben are headed for divorce because that's a man who had a good life. She done brought all that extra stuff out, and now that guy wants out." While Knight's comments should be taken with a grain of salt because he's not exactly known for being a neutral observer, they've definitely added fuel to the fire. Of course, no modern scandal is complete without the internet weighing in, and this one has been no exception. Social media platforms are abuzz with reactions, memes, and wild theories about the alleged tapes. Some fans are defending JLo, pointing out that her past with Diddy is ancient history and should have no bearing on her current life. Others are gleefully dissecting the rumors, with some going as far as to suggest that these tapes could lead to an all-out Hollywood implosion if they're ever released. Then there's the question of timing. Why are these tapes surfacing now? Just as Diddy faces a wave of legal stuff, including allegations that are way too bad to mention here. Cynics suspect that the allegations are part of a larger smear campaign against the music mogul, with JLo and Affleck caught in the crossfire. Amid the chaos, one voice has been conspicuously absent: Jennifer Lopez herself. The multi-hyphenate superstar has yet to comment publicly on the allegations, fueling speculation about what's happening behind the scenes. Lopez has always been a master of managing her public image, carefully curating her persona as a hard-working, family-oriented icon. Her silence could be a strategic move to avoid fanning the flames, or it could be that she's working behind the scenes to address the fallout privately. While the existence of these tapes tapes has been widely reported, skeptics argue that they might be nothing more than an urban legend. Over the years, rumors of compromising footage of various celebrities have circulated endlessly, with little to no evidence ever coming to light. That said, the timing of these allegations couldn't be worse for Diddy, who's already under intense scrutiny for legal stuff. If the tapes are real and contain anything remotely incriminating, they could prove disastrous for all parties involved. As this scandal unfolds, all eyes are on Jennifer Lopez. Will she address the allegations head-on, or will she let the rumors fizzle out on their own? Whether the tapes are real or just another Hollywood myth, one thing is clear: the fallout from this scandal will be felt for months to come. As fans and critics dissect every juicy detail, Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck's ability to weather this storm will undoubtedly shape their future.
Explicit photos of JLo and Diddy have just leaked onto the internet. There are many screenshots.
Jennifer Lopez photos and history with P. Diddy get leaked. Jennifer Lopez has a long storied history with P. Diddy, one that not many people may know. She was at his white parties, she dated him for a while, and it may go even deeper. JLo may know a bit more about his situation than most.
So much of my past.
Before Diddy became the subject of federal investigations, he was known for throwing legendary white parties in the Hamptons, hosting the biggest stars of the time in glamorous summer gatherings that embodied the peak of early 2000s celebrity culture. Photos from these parties resurfacing after his recent arrest show a variety of familiar faces mingling at his mansion in East Hampton.
Controversy surrounding Puffy and JLo. A couple of resurfaced photos from Puffy's.
The scene was filled with everyone from rising teen idols to fashion industry royalty, all dressed in iconic white outfits. And one of the most talked about photos from these parties shows Diddy lounging on an enormous white bed, surrounded by pillows, right next to his then girlfriend, the one and only Jennifer Lopez. This couple wasn't just a photo op. They were dating on and off between 1999 and 2001, during a pivotal moment in both of their careers. Their relationship became as much of a headline as their individual successes.
He was larger than life, but at first I didn't like him at all.
That July 2000 white party, like many of Diddy's events, was packed with a who's who of Hollywood and the music world. They were photographed alongside Kimora Lee Simmons and her then husband, Russell Simmons, as well as actors like Matthew Broderick and Sarah Jessica Parker. The iconic singer Aaliyah was also there, as was Leonardo DiCaprio, who at 25 was captured relaxing with Diddy and a few friends, sipping champagne in true Hampton style. JLo and Diddy's relationship, even outside of these parties, was always marked by a certain undeniable chemistry.
I didn't like him because Sean and I were very different that way, you know.
They weren't just a power couple in terms of fame. They were making waves in each other's professional lives too. At the time, JLo was skyrocketing to fame with hits like her debut album On the Six, which Diddy had a hand in producing. They were both at career highs, but their romance was known for its ups and downs, with the pair breaking up and reconciling multiple times. Their bond seemed intense and glamorous, but as many high-profile romances go, it also had its darker moments. Their relationship took a particularly dramatic turn in December 1999 when the couple was involved in a high-profile nightclub incident that would end up shaping both of their lives in unexpected ways. The pair had been out for the night in New York City when an argument erupted between Jamal Shine Barrow, a young rapper mentored by Diddy, and members of JLo's security team. Before anyone knew it, the altercation escalated, resulting in a situation that left 3 people injured. When the police arrived on the scene, Diddy and JLo made an attempt to leave the scene behind, but they were soon stopped by law enforcement. A search of their car revealed a stolen self-defense object, leading to the immediate arrest of both JLo and Diddy. The aftermath of that night was crazy. JLo was released without charges, but the whole thing left a mark. For Diddy, however, the consequences were more serious. He faced a lot of legal stuff related to the incident, though he ultimately managed to avoid jail time. Reflecting on the impact of this night years later, JLo shared how odd and overwhelming it was to be caught up in such a situation. In an interview with Elle, she described it as a nightmare, recalling that she was scared and had no idea what was unfolding around her. JLo and Diddy's relationship didn't survive much longer after the nightclub incident, though it certainly left a mark on both of their lives. Their breakup was another headline maker, with JLo later opening up about the toll it took on her. In a 2003 interview with Vibe, she shared that her relationship with Diddy was the first time she'd ever been with someone who wasn't faithful, and she didn't hold back on describing the impact. "I was in this relationship with Puff where I was totally crying, crazy, and going nuts." She said, "It really sent my whole life into a tailspin. It was a painful period for her, one that showed the sometimes chaotic side of the celebrity lifestyle." Interestingly, Diddy wasn't the only person connected to JLo's music career who played a role in her personal life. Her first husband, Ojani Noah, also has a complicated connection to Diddy. Noah and JLo were married briefly between 1997 and 98, before her rise to mega stardom. But years later, Noah suggested that Diddy played a part in their split. He opened up during an interview with Despierta America, sharing his thoughts on how he believes Diddy's influence impacted his and JLo's marriage. According to Noah, things started to change when JLo began working on her debut album, On the 6, with Diddy as one of the producers. He felt the distance between them growing as she was traveling between New York, Miami, and other locations for her career, while he stayed in Los Angeles working on his own projects. In Noah's words, that's when he started noticing the deception and the lies that would eventually contribute to the end of their marriage. While they'd been working hard to balance their relationship, the pressures of fame and success proved to be difficult to manage. The fallout from his split with JLo continued to affect Noah's life even after their relationship ended. During the same interview, he reflected on how he believes JLo's actions post-divorce impacted his career. He said she had taken him to court, accused him of things he hadn't done, and even reached out to various companies and networks, which he claims led to lost job opportunities. He expressed frustration over the situation, wondering why she would go to such lengths when he felt he hadn't done anything to warrant that treatment. Meanwhile, JLo has kept her comments on Diddy's recent legal issues to a minimum. While the two certainly have a lot of history, both personally and professionally, she hasn't spoken out regarding the current investigations or his arrest. Given the tumultuous nature of their relationship and the highs and lows they experienced together, it's understandable that she might want to keep her distance from any fresh discussion surrounding him. Still, it's hard to ignore the lasting impact their time together has had on pop culture. The images from Diddy's iconic white parties, like the one of him and JLo on that lavish bed, are a reminder of the larger-than-life moments that defined the celebrity scene at the time. These parties weren't just gatherings, they were events that represented the glamour and excess of a particular era in Hollywood, and Diddy, for all the good and bad, was at the center of it.
Comments about P. Diddy, the allegations?
New details about the role that Jennifer Lopez played in P. Diddy's freak-off parties has been revealed, and people are convinced more than ever that JLo is hiding something. Diddy and his freak-off parties and news about it at this point has completely taken over the media, and all the celebrities that are involved or connected with Diddy in some way are completely avoiding this topic altogether because they do not want to be associated with Diddy and his parties.
Can't tell that one either. I mean, I'm like actually cycling through them.
And JLo is a name that just keeps on coming up because of her connection with Diddy. If you didn't know, back in the day, like in the late 90s, early 2000s, JLo and Diddy, they were romantically involved. So they dated for a little bit, and back then they were seen as a celebrity power couple. But now, decades later, it turns out that their time together overlaps the period of when Diddy was hosting these freak-off parties. Naturally, people are wondering if JLo was aware of what was going on at these events, and also if she had any involvement with them. People are wondering this because there was a former employee of JLo that's now sharing all this detail about how JLo is completely innocent and she lived a completely different life than P. Diddy, known as Puff Daddy back then, and that she had nothing to do with the parties at all. And you know, JLo has been in the media for a long time. Some people love her, some people do not like her. She's faced a ton of criticism for various reasons. People find her to be a little bit mean and rude. But you know, there's a big difference between just being demanding and a little bit rude at times. I think we all are demanding and rude in some cases in our daily lives. So that's not too strange for JLo. I think the thing is, people are just thinking that how could this woman be involved with Diddy and not know what he was up to? Because yeah, you can be rude, you can be mean, but you know, this is a whole new level of allegations. And people think that, yeah, she's not just the JLo that we see in the media. She's not just, you know, the woman that jumps from relationship to relationship. She's also just as evil and guilty as Diddy. Now, I don't necessarily believe that personally, but this former employee of JLo, Taya D'Souza, who worked with her on her Made in Manhattan movie, spoke out to defend JLo. And a lot of JLo's critics are just thinking that, okay, well, why is she defending JLo? Like, couldn't JLo defend herself? Like, what's going on here? But on the flip side, though, she doesn't have anything to gain by defending JLo. She doesn't work for JLo anymore, and she's not getting paid by JLo. There's no apparent benefit for defending JLo. So this is why I tend to lean towards the belief that she doesn't have any reason to lie about JLo's innocence. She says that she knew JLo pretty well during the time that she dated Diddy, and now she's coming forward to just set the record straight because she knows a lot of people are making speculations and claims and spreading a lot of theories about JLo. She's adamant that anyone who knew Jennifer Lopez at the time also would make it clear that she was not involved in any of Diddy's mess. And I mean, when you take a look at the circumstances like I was talking about, this seems pretty sincere. Like, for her to come out and say this, it seems like a sincere thing. Like, what does she have to gain from doing this? But you know, just because Taya D'Souza says these things doesn't necessarily make them 100% true. So JLo isn't in the clear yet. I think there's still too much questions and not enough evidence that have been brought forth to show that JLo is innocent for people to just kind of back off and be like, okay, yeah, JLo 100% wasn't involved in any of Diddy's mess. According to Taya D'Souza, JLo is somebody who barely ever drinks. She's not a party person at all. And she isn't the type of celebrity that's looking to just have a good time in that way. Instead, Taya describes JLo as a workaholic, and she says that she's a woman that's focused on uplifting others and empowering other women. And she said that she was just somebody who was charmed by Diddy for a brief moment in time, but ultimately she's 100% dedicated to her career. Taya also says that she doesn't deserve to be connected to Diddy in any way. And you know, she does bring up a good point. People get charmed by their partners all the time without knowing everything about them. And in this case, maybe JLo saw that Diddy, you know, he's a charismatic guy, he's famous, he's rich, he's influential, very successful. Who wouldn't want to date Diddy back in the day, right? If that's all you knew about him. So, of course, she saw it as an opportunity to get to know him, date him for a little bit, and she wasn't aware of the full degree of his dark side. That's one possibility. And I always got to try to play devil's advocate here because people are still a little bit skeptical, pointing out that JLo was often seen partying with Diddy during their time together. But apparently she's the kind of person who works too much and too passionately to get distracted by all of the partying. Yeah, that's what they're saying about JLo, even though she's been seen partying. Not that she didn't party or anything like that. And there was a difference between P. Diddy's parties and the freak-off parties. The freak-off parties happened after the regular parties. So there is a possibility that JLo knew what was going on to some degree, but there's also the possibility that she just had no clue. So this ex-employee statements, it does give us a little bit of a different perspective on the whole thing. At least now we hear somebody that's speaking on behalf of JLo about this. But it's still a little bit surprising to me anyways that JLo herself hasn't come out and said anything at all to clear her own name. She's just been silent and she refuses to talk about anything to do with Diddy. So she's a big name for sure, and it's easy to lump celebrities like JLo in with Diddy, especially if you were somebody that is really, really close to Diddy or was close to Diddy in some way. And if we were to go by what Taya D'Souza was saying about JLo, we see that JLo didn't live a lifestyle like the lifestyle that Diddy lived. But the theories about JLo are going to continue to spread. This is my prediction here, because she is so silent, and there's also a lack of concrete evidence that prove that she's in fact innocent. So, of course, what do you expect people to think? As more information does come out about the whole Diddy drama, we'll hopefully get some clear answers on where JLo actually stands in all of this. And more insiders are coming out as well, making claims, and some of them are remaining anonymous. So I'm not really quick to believe every single thing that's being said by these insiders, especially if they're remaining anonymous. I'm sure they have their own reasons for remaining anonymous, but it's just a little bit hard to believe every single thing that they say. Although I definitely, in this case, would give JLo the benefit of the doubt.